Hey guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Quite a scary video to do, but let's go, okay? Two things. For the entirety of the video, Theo will do his best to speak about himself in third person as an experiment because, do his best because it's quite challenging to do as you start going off. But it's also to make certain points. Secondly, Theo is going to do his best to step outside the coach Theo role and just be Theo, the little guy, the little fella here, okay? Because in this life we have roles, and many of them there's nothing wrong with. They're not fake or anything. They're still authentic to who we truly are. It's just that in certain situations we might have to upplay certain aspects of ourselves and downplay certain aspects of ourselves, like in the profession, right? But any situation really, as long as it's something you genuinely feel all right, it's in line still with your authentic self, that's all fine. But then there are many roles and masks that we think we need to wear that we picked up from our past, different wounds, traumas of different degrees. Again, let's say programming, because trauma is too much many times, but just these ideas we have about who we need to be to get certain things we want or avoid certain things we don't want. So, love versus hurt and fear pretty much at its core, without going into every individual example of this. But then the last part is also that some of the roles that we are like fine for us to play, sometimes though we accidentally bring them into areas in our life where they just don't belong really. Again, it makes sense that Theo is Coach Theo on the Uncommon Sense YouTube channel, but sometimes maybe he can't help but be that guy when it's not really the time. And actually, if he's being honest, it's probably his biggest flaw in relationships, that he cannot, not in the loud shouting and saying little bitch sort of way, like in the YouTube videos, but he kind of cannot help but maybe be a bit too handsy in guiding the girl, which girls don't want. They want to be led, they want to follow you, take your lead, which Theo is really good at because he's so confident and secure in his masculinity and he understands femininity quite well. But he, even being that way, maybe he forgets sometimes that this is not a bro or a client. This sort of way, no matter how nicely you say it or mean it, it's just not the time, right? But so it is a scary video for Theo to do, because even announcing it at the start, speaking in third person is just quite an uncommon thing to do, and most people would tend to think that you're crazy or an egomaniac or something. But Theo is afraid, but he is in a very high state right now, as in just feeling great on a very high vibration. He generally is very fearless to almost anything right now. Most things can just slide. He just feels free to express himself. But now he found something where actually the little child that's afraid of being misunderstood, he can sense it, right? Is it even worth it going there, taking the risk for people to yet again get me wrong, and I feel hurt and abandoned, misunderstood? See, the I slipped there, so that should say something, right? And so, Theo right now, how do we start? Well, yesterday, Theo made a video that he called "I'm the Perfect Man and You Are an Egomaniac. It's Uncommon Sense." And it's really Theo trying to get to the core, to the bottom of the things that has helped him so much the last 7 years. And of course, Theo has learned the technicalities and really quite mastered some of these things like fitness, training, building muscle, losing weight, fasting, and more. And he can teach you those things. Fitness, training, building muscle, losing weight, fasting, and more, and he can teach you those things. But the thing is, he knows that right from the start, that all came downstream from these other things that he calls uncommon sense, that he tries now to do his best to transfer to you, communicate to you, right? And so in this video, Theo talked about how we're different human beings, but we're more alike than we're different. And so every trait that exists in one of us exists in all the others. It's just a matter of to which degree and the way these traits together are structured, right? So for instance, we're all gonna have ups and downs in life, you know, just periods when things are just nicer, you feel better, yeah, things are just going your way, just seemingly all over it, you're just vibing in a certain way. While there might be darker times when you're at least a little bit more sad or heavy or tired, right? And Theo has had to figure out about himself that he is a person with quite big highs and lows. He accidentally started music in his ear there. Yeah, generally he seems, that's what he has observed, that he seems to have higher highs than most, but also lower lows than most. And he knows that it's inevitable now, when he's in a high state, that there will come not necessarily a crash, but there will come a low after the high. It always does. He's just learned at this point that when he's in this high state, he needs to appreciate and do the most of it, but also without being afraid, just be cautious to give himself a smoother landing, and then the low won't be quite as low. So even he can get to enjoy being quite high, but he needs to pull back just a little bit, because he's too many times before crashed. Actually, do you know that Theo, this just comes to mind now, but Berserk is one of the few mangas Theo has ever read. It's the only one, to be frank. But he, when he reads that, identifies more with Guts, the wounded, traumatized hero, right? The good guy keeps pushing through struggle, but is too deep in the darkness at times, but really mighty fucking powerful. And he generally does not like Griffith, right? What Griffith did, he could never do, but he has seen, though, the way Theo interpreted Berserk is that it's very much about yin and yang. It's extremely philosophical. It is not that I'm jacked and I should know better. Maybe it is I am jacked so I do know better. Thank you, Bald Omni-Man. I'm not into anime otherwise. I guess I venture too close to Griffith's path instead of Guts' path. I think they represent yin and yang, and I should go the path in the middle. But anyway, Guts and Griffith represent two poles, right? You want to be like Griffith, the confidence, the just owning that you are a king, even as a little pleb in that world where, you know, you have to be of a certain bloodline really to claim royalty. But even as a little pleb, he just asserts so confidently that I will have my kingdom, because he knows he is a king, right? But then, in a moment of weakness, when he felt betrayed by the only person he considered his true friend, he went too far in his ego, with horrendous consequences, and he made a really, really evil choice after that. I can never justify what Griffith did, because, well, now Theo slipped again, forgot the experiment here, but Theo could never do that, but now he's gained a different understanding for the Griffith side of things, though, because he sees the power in Griffith. Like, there was a reason everyone wanted to follow Griffith, because he was an amazing general. He kept winning everywhere. Everyone knew that if I follow Griffith, I am on the side that will win. It just must be. He is an amazing leader. So it was great of Griffith that he could own his kingdom like that. Then the lesson to be learned, though, is he went too far. He was too high. He flew too close to the sun, and he got burnt so badly that he would do a thing like this. Theo doesn't really see that he ever, no matter what, like, he could see maybe, because he's not, how to express that? Well, he's not like naive. Theo thinks all the time about worst case scenarios in life, not from a place of fear, but just to be prepared. How would Theo handle it if he lost his legs? How would he handle this? So Theo is sure that something so horrible could happen that, you know, he loses a lot of what he's built. He's not sure, because no man is God. He's not sure that there are challenges that he couldn't endure and overcome, but he's quite sure that he wouldn't do anything like Griffith. Theo had to stop and think a little, because he did not expect to start talking so much about Berserk. Just comes, that's the thing, in the high state. Theo wants to, these things that are so clear to him in the high state, all these things that just come, right? He wants to take the opportunity, because he knows that even if he doesn't crash, even if he learns from the story of Griffith and just, you know, start going closer to the surface again when he's too close to the sun, there will still be a time where all these things just aren't as obvious to him. So he wants to really press save and express Perceive is what Theo calls it, like somehow, you know, literally, right? Like we do with data, storing it on this video, for instance, right? But yeah, long side tangent about Berserk, but we're more alike than we're different. And the thing is, the whole reason for this experiment with speaking in third person is that the word I doesn't really exist. As in, obviously it exists and it does refer to something. Okay, as if this wasn't messy enough already with the whole third person experiment and accidentally telling stories about Berserk, which were cool, we'll keep those, they're relevant enough, but I'm gonna have to reset here now, okay? Things just don't go the way you thought, always. I'm gonna tell you what happened so I can just kind of reset and move on, but actually I have to start moving now because of clients. Well, basically, because I'm a little like, okay, I have to stop and just think, how do I round off this video? And then I hear someone like, hey, behind me here. And I'm like, huh? And two guys walking towards me like, police, showing the badge and all. I'm like, really? Someone called the police on me? Because I'm so fucking crazy speaking in third person. I was standing here recording a video, like who even saw me, you know? But then, just a few seconds, and I'm like, because this happens quite often that I run into people smoking weed because we're looking for the same thing, you know, some privacy, a place where people don't pass by. So actually, even funnier, I saw before heading these two guys sitting here. It's like, what else could they be doing other than smoking weed? No one goes here to just sit otherwise. But so they got the gist quite quickly that I wasn't up to that. But they did ask me about doping. And I got the chance to start talking about the fake natties on my YouTube videos that I'm recording here. Theo got the chance to obsess about the things he's always so self-centered about, right? But, well, let's actually continue without the third person experiment now. Why that kind of thing is so interesting to do here is to observe ourselves. Let's actually take these glasses off. Okay, reset. Sunglasses back on. Back to third person mode. We gotta do something. Theo is so annoyed, actually. He wants to apologize to you. He was so happy with where the video was going. This weird and unusual video. He knew exactly, right to the flow, knew exactly where he was taking it. Freaking cops show up, which was funny, but now thrown off and starting to stress about the client, start moving and start reacting to... Let's make this part of the video, okay? This can be productive, okay? I know you wanted it to be a certain way, Theo. I know. It's okay that you're not perfect, or that things don't turn out the way you thought. It doesn't mean that they're ruined. Change your perspective and don't do this. Don't start speeding up and stressing out about things when you actually need to slow down. Slow down. It's a typical thing people do, right? When they get stressed out. You know this, typical pattern of Theo. Even in a high state, if thrown off, and something is important, it starts to feel pressure, it can so easily start going down that route. Do things differently, okay? You have time before your client. You do have time. They're often late. Even if you'd be late, they might be later. And look, they like your videos. You're always on time. They'll let you be a few minutes late, okay, Theo? I know, Theo. I know you wanted the video to be a certain way. I know you want to be a certain way for your client. You want to always be on time. It's okay that you're not perfect. Okay, this is good. This is good. Showing to the guys that Theo isn't this fucking perfect guy that they make up in their head that he thinks he is. Calm down. Now the last part is just that you are calm, but of course it's hard to get back to the flow. When you're writing the script as you go and you write in the midst of the flow, so how do you just get back there? It's like I will drop the Theo bit now again, but yeah, I feel bothered by this. I really wanted to give you guys a video in a certain way. I have a hard time accepting that it went way it went, but I also at the same time realized that this is a good thing. This is a good thing because I still feel like thrown off. It's like, you know, it's like my people pleaser, the perfectionist comes out. This is very good for you guys to see because this is all of this is in all of us, right? It's like I want to apologize that it's not going to maybe be quite as clear as I know it could have been, right? But please, okay, please allow me to be weird and messy here, okay? Basically, the point of this exercise with me talking in third person is, first of all, it might make you interpret what I'm saying in a different way, even though I'm talking exactly the way I usually do. I just replace the word I with Theo. So it's cool for that reason, but it's actually a good exercise for you to try. Like, you can obviously tell people that you're doing it, because you're gonna be weird if you're like start talking about yourself in third person. But what it is a practice in observing yourself from the outside, okay? Instead of being right in the midst and identifying with everything that is you, you're seeing yourself as the one observing everything. So instead of I am Theo, it's like I am the one observing Theo from within. Theo is my ride. Theo is the one, it's just the vehicle, the window through which I look at the world. So the best thing I can do is not get so fucking caught up in being Theo and see him more as my horse. Get to know my horse. How should I treat my horse the best so that he takes me the way where I want and doesn't run wild and all that stuff, right? And so also the word I, the way Bruce Lee says it is, the word I doesn't exist. I always think expressing things like that is like godlike, you know. The word I does exist is what I would say, and it does refer to something specific, but we get confused because, again, the I is not the one you think it is. The I is the one observing this for you. For me, it's Theo. I'm observing Theo. When I say I, which I have to, and when we're just moving around in life and not doing crazy, borderline, spiritual maniac videos, we have to do this. We have to be able to distinguish one individual from another. But, well, the thing that people get confused that they don't realize, just because we use these words, when we try to distinguish, in the end, you're always basing everything about anyone else off of yourself, okay? I never actually feel what it's like being you. I don't hear your thoughts. No, none of that, right? I directly get to experience. I've always only experienced everything through being Theo, right? And that's the way we learn things. We mirror things back to each other. Like, I can understand still many things about you based off of myself, right? When if you cry, or you're sad, you told me a story, it's like I can imagine how you feel, because I've been in a similar position, right? But I don't actually feel it, right? And many times we know this. We are aware, like if someone comes crying to you, your friend, you know that, you know, it's not you being, it's all about them. But many times when we think it's you're doing this, you're doing that, or you should do this and you should do that, guess what? It's actually completely based off of you. You're seeing ghosts because, well, this is where I feel like I knew exactly how I was rounding this off before. I'm not sure. And now, let me pause if I have to. Okay, now I'm still thrown off from my flow. It's like now I'm trying to do something. You know, when you're in the flow, you're just doing it. But now I'm trying to finish the video. But I'm starting to feel better about it because this is actually, it's so meta and so perfect to the point that this could not have happened in any other way. Because like I say, high state Theo, he is generally, has so much distance. He's like in charge. He is completely having his ego on his leash. But now I actually went into my ego. The perfectionist came out. The person that wants to explain to you guys why it didn't turn out the way it should have. Like that, guys, see, the video's still good, right? Like you see why it happened like this, right? So that's actually quite perfect, right? So this is, if you don't realize, this is vulnerable now. Like I shared actual insecurities with you now. Yes, I am the huge perfectionist. Yes. So are you, and that's why you make up in your head that you think, I think, I'm perfect. I'm very well aware, and now I'm admitting it straight in your face. I failed with what I set out to do with the video, please guys. But, if I try to round off here, have you noticed that when I don't do weird experiments, changing I for Theo, have you noticed that I use the word I a lot? I did this, I used to be like this, when I do it, I think of it like this. Even when I write, and the funny thing is that people often take that to mean that you're self-centered, and the feedback I often get is, well, Theo, you gotta realize this though. They're telling me something as if it's something I'm not thinking, I'm not aware of, right? Not everyone has it like this, like you, Theo. You gotta see other people's perspective, Theo. The funny thing is that I say I, because I am well aware that even if I wouldn't use the word I am still basing everything off of my experience here. And you're actually the one that is not taking my perspective into account. You're assuming that I'm not realizing the thing you want to tell me. Is that you have to realize, Theo. No, little fella. You have to realize. You have to realize that I already know what you're doing. You're self-centered. even though on paper, maybe you say the word I less, but you're actually one making it too much about yourself here, right? So there were other things. I guess this is the thing with uncommon sense, is holistic, especially when I got thrown off like this, that I often want to cram everything I have in mind into one video, but I never get everything anyway. There were other things, like what I wanted to, this is not just about insecurities and projecting on people and stuff like that. It's also when you start, pretty much what I want you to understand here is that all you think you are, just see it as an experience you're having, your vehicle. Notice the different functions of your vehicle, the tendencies, the patterns. Learn to operate this vehicle and realize this, use other people as a mirror, right? Realize always when you feel something about someone, or someone else makes you feel something by something they say or do, it says something about you, right? It says something about you. Be curious, because this, you see, what happened here is I went into a reaction loop of stressing out, and you need to finish this, and Theo, you need to deliver the video and to the client that's waiting for you, right? I went into a pattern, an automated pattern, had a hard time. And this is what we do all the time. And some people live constantly in patterns and are not even aware of it, because it seems like the ego is telling you that you're choosing to do all these things, right? You have to be able to step outside and just watch. And what I will try to do the next time something like that happens is like complete reset, go against the impulse to fucking speed through things, right? Calm down. And I'm already way better at this, but this is a typical pattern. This is one of the things that sit really deep in Theo. Anxious guy, anxious from his upbringing. You gotta be on top of things now, right? Figuring yourself out like this, guys, that's when you wonder, I know how to I watched all the fitness content, I know what I should be doing, but I'm not able to stay, because why do I always do this, Yes, that's what you're gonna find out. That's what you're invited here to find out about yourself, okay? So now, I actually don't have space on the phone I have to finish the video. I'll just have to accept that. Theo's little ego wants to explain and say some last things. But this is fucking perfect, okay? Thank you for being nice to me. Thank you for being sweet to Theo now. Seeing that he is quite vulnerable with putting out this video. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you later. Peace.